Hey there, and welcome to Making the Interiors of Market Stalls Part 3. I can't remember what I called this one. I think it might have been Dumbo. Something to do with big ears. Elephant. Something. Meh. Not sure. Doesn't matter. So, interior for this one now, just to keep it so that each interior is slightly different so you get the full variation of things and stuff. Over on the right here you see I've got a load of big pieces laid up for shelving. So there will be a big shelf unit which will come quite far into this room with the aim of quite heavily obscuring the door on this particular one. And then over on the left here we will have another set of shelves, so you'll find that I'm kind of minimizing the amount of visible space. I haven't got down the floor raiser lifter upper yet. That's because I haven't actually organised the pieces for it yet, because I'm a fool and I should have done that already. But basically the most important thing for me right now though is that this back piece, I need to work out exactly where I want it, because I want to have enough space so you can reach in around behind it to put minis behind it, because it comes about an inch, just over an inch into the room, so you will have like full line of sight blocking from one side. But I'm also leaving it so there is enough reach in space so you can reach in relatively easily. So I'll just go through the pieces with you quickly. Here then is the mini shelf for the left hand side, and as you can see we've got a back, a side, and so these will rest on the counter, so the bottom shelf will rest on the counter. This will fit like this, and then we've got our shelves, pre-beveled leading edges on the shelves as ever, done off shot. Been sanded slightly. These are pretty uneven actually. I find if you're beveling stuff like this, you're better off beveling a large strip, right, and then cutting it down, whereas I've cut them down to size and then beveled them, which means they're very difficult to handle and get a grip on. So when you're cutting, especially if you're freehand cutting like I am, it's quite difficult to get even beveled edges. As you can see, they're a bit messy. I've given them a bit of a light sanding as well, just to sort of curve them a bit. But they're not perfect, but it's fine. Here then we have our components for the large shelf. This is actually the same height as the building, so this is 3.5 inches, but the shelves will all be fitted in accordance with this. So they'll all fit into this kind of area. This will fit on just like so. And then, well, in fact it'll probably fit more like so. And then the shelves will be fitted in accordance with this, so that the shelves, got the 3 deep shelves, and then the 1 shallow shelf which will be for the top. So this is much more like a market stall which has some display shelves where you go and see stuff which is already on the shelves, and then you will purchase it from said shelves. At some point I should really make lots of like products and stuff for these shelves, but I think for the moment I'm more concerned just about having the interiors so that if you like, the basic interior is in, but it's not detailed up to the nines. Finally then we have our now standard CD hole cover hatch cap thingy whatnot, and our tills with sort of cash readout bits to see how much you're going to pay, and your swipe points for your comm logs. So next up I'm just going to get all of my shelving units assembled, and I will get them fitted and I'll show you the finished thing in a mo. There we have it then, all done, everything's in. On the left there then we have, over here we've got a set of smaller shelves where you can easily sort of fit in behind here, mostly giving cover from shots fired from this direction. On the right we have a substantial set of shelves which you can actually fit in behind but also fit in between. And although it's a tight gap, because of the way this bit angles back, I'll just see if I can give you you can actually fit a base in underneath, so as long as you're careful putting stuff in and taking stuff out, you should be fine. So I'll just grab some minis so you can see what it's like with some minis on it. So here you have it then. We've got a few guys from the JSA hiding out here, including the Yoroi Kitabutai. so that we can see the scale of a tag relative to these buildings. So this is why I built them 3.5 inches tall. It's just so that you can fully conceal a tag without any questions or silhouette checks. Yes, the weapon is sticking out from behind it, but the weapon's outside of the volume for the tag, so the weapon doesn't actually count as a valid target in and of itself. You can see here again the guys lurking down behind the counter. I have been thinking that before I paint them I might put in another tier of sort of risen platform in behind the counters, just so that it's not just like head and shoulders peeking up above, which would give it a 6mm elevation. And then if I build deckings for out front, I'll do something with a 6mm elevation there as well, just to bring everything in line a bit more. Because I'm not really happy with everybody sort of. I'd prefer it if they looked like they were chest height counters, I suppose. Something like that. Something tall enough to make it difficult for people to get by, but I kind of got carried away when I was building these, I think, and didn't think carefully enough about actually how high the walls were. I made them proportionate with the building rather than proportionate with the miniatures. So more for me, and so there's something for you to remember when you're putting buildings together. What you can't quite see is, if I just open the back door and reach in, we actually have a Kempe tie lurking at the back here. And really that's just so you can see that you can actually get full concealment, so you could potentially open the door, nip into the room and stay out of sight in this kind of a build and this kind of a design. It has also occurred to me that it's kind of a pain in the ass reaching into these buildings, so you may decide, even if you did build something like this and you were just playing a quick game, you might just say no, we're not using building interiors. You also might like to go the other way, where perhaps you do something like you play in a smaller playing area, say half size, so rather than 4 foot by 4 foot you go 2 foot by 2 foot, you half all movement speeds, maybe don't half your ranges, just your movement speeds. And you use something like this so you can play like a kind of detailed close-in game where you're playing on a series of smaller pieces of scenery. I'll set up a board at some point and kind of show you what I mean by that, and maybe go through some ideas for that kind of a thing. Because it'd be very easy with this set of rules, like I say. So if you've got a miniature which is speed 6/4, to make it speed 3/2, so you can move maximum 5 inches. It would greatly reduce your movement speeds, but on the same note, in terms of small areas like this, it would facilitate them much better. And in that case you might say, oh, we're not going to use snipers, blah blah blah, because they would be irrelevant. Or if you do pay for a sniper, it's off board and it's got some kind of vantage point where you measure it. I don't know, maybe if you could put towers around the edge of the board somewhere or something and place the sniper in the tower so they're off board to fire support effectively, so you can't really get to them or shoot them or anything unless you have another sniper who's doing counter shooting, blah blah blah, etc etc. You know how this game works. So either way, I hope this has been of some interest and use to you, and that you're building all the things you want just the way you want them. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Have a good one and take care. Bye bye.